another episode of Beer for Breakfast ABV. I am Danielle from the morning show on 91X along with Marty, and big thanks to Belmont Park, supporters of Beer for Breakfast. You'll find local favorites Charlie's and their new St. Archer's pop-up bar, Belmont, for brews and food and views. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura, brewmaster of Karl Strauss. Hello, my friend.
Hi, and cheers.
Yes, we're cheersing to Doug Hasker and Dan Anderson coming from us at Puesto. You may think, wait, Puesto? We know Puesto because we love their food there in Seaport Village. We love their food in Del Mar. But did you know that when Puesto opened up their location in Mission Valley, they added a cerveceria? And we've got beers that are made from Doug and Dan. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers. Great to have you guys on the show. Little did Puesto know, perhaps, that they landed two of the best lager brewers in San Diego.
True that.
I mean, they're pretty smart people. I'm sure they knew that, but I'm telling everybody else out there, like, these guys are the best lager brewers in San Diego.
I'm not buying it.
Would this face lie to you?
Oh, don't ask that kind of question. Come on, we're trying to tell a truthful show here.
Don't answer that.
Kicking things off with the Clara, coming in at a 4.7% ABV. What is this, Doug?
Well, we wanted to make a lighter style Mexican lager, and something that is traditional Mexican, something you can drink with anything, something on a hot day, something that you can drink with a lime or without a lime. And, think Pacifico, only better is what we tried to do. So, and I think we've succeeded.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I think this would put out the fire after eating some assertive, like, spicy chilies and tacos and
Anything.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is it's got more flavor, I think, than the Pacificos and some of, like, the popular Mexican lagers out there. And as a person who drinks beer for the flavor, that's what I'm into.
Yeah. You're the one.
So well done, guys.
You could easily drink this beer all day. It is the perfect, as we're here sitting in the most ridiculous August weather ever for us San Diego people. This is the perfect beer for this weather. Doug, we've always known you as the lager king of San Diego. What was the difference between going from a German lager that we've known you forever to make, going into this Mexican lager?
It was the spelling, mostly. I just told somebody at lunch today, I said, I don't make beer anymore, I make cerveza. And that's what it is. Really what it is, it's a mindset. It's a lot the same. The yeast is different. We add a little corn to everything. But basically it's the same. Where Dan and I are having fun, we're changing a little bit of my schooling in German beers. We're changing a little bit of the approach and trying to get the beers to finish a little bit lower and make them a little bit more approachable. And we're having a good time doing it, and I think we're being successful about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this beer is extremely approachable. I mean, I don't see anybody, like, having any flaws with this beer, picking out any flaws. I mean, I certainly don't. Invariably, there's going to be somebody who does, but and you guys are probably your only worst critics. What would you change about this if you could?
Ooh.
Oh, that's for me.
We'll let Dan do it since it's mostly mine.
You're right. It's kind of hard to not be your own worst critic. I don't like anything that I make, but I'm kidding. This one was pretty spot on recipe-wise, and I think spot on to what our intentions were, at least, which isn't always the case right out of the gate. So as far as Clara is concerned, I think we're both pretty pleased with it, and it turned out what we want. It's a brewer's beer. It's drinkable and crushable, and it's lawnmower beer. It's awesome.
See, I would say that this is almost one of those converter beers. I could see somebody to Puesto and they only know a handful of beers, and they're those big brands that we all know. And I could totally see somebody coming in and being like, this is what I like, this is what I'm for, and putting a Clara in front of them and totally changing their mind on what craft beer really can be.
Yeah, it does that job, certainly.
You know, given the amazing
that are doing this, you know, making a real clean light lager that is crushable. Yeah.
Well, you can't hide anything about these. Any like potential flaw will come out, and so for anyone that thinks like, oh, like a beer that comes in at 4.5 between 5%, like, oh, that's a wussy beer. Like, no. So much more goes into a lager than really any other style because you can't hide behind anything.
That's true.
It's almost counterintuitive, right? People see a light lager, they think they're easier to make. They're actually much harder to make. Clean and consistent are two of the best compliments I think you could pay any brewer. And these guys right here are definitely worthy of those two words, and have been for a long time.
Thank you.
Cheers to that. So Doug and Dan, can you guys kind of give us an update? What's going on with Puesto? Like I said earlier, we know the Seaport Village headquarters, the location. We know the one that opened up in Del Mar, and now you guys have taken over the old Gordon Biersch in Mission Valley. What's going on with operations?
Pretty much what you're leading on to. We opened up the brewery here in Mission Valley as part of the Mission Valley Puesto, and the intention is to be the cerveceria for the Puesto brand. So we have beer in the headquarters downtown, Seaport Village, and then the La Jolla store, and working our way up. There's a couple locations that are being worked on getting the beer in, and just trying to expand out to all the Puesto locations essentially right now.
So this is the 7th store that they've opened, and so they decided they do world-class margaritas, they do award-winning tacos, and they also now they got into the craft cocktail game, and now also the beer game and the cerveceria game. So we're just hoping that we have our pillar holds up as well as the margarita and the taco pillars do. That's really what we want to do. This is their 7th store that they opened. First one with a cerveceria.
In my opinion, the beer stands up to all of the rest of their amazing stuff. But I would imagine maybe they had to retrofit some of their bars to serve beer. No?
We're working on that. Yeah, we're actually doing one in Orange County tomorrow and putting these beers on up there. Yeah, a little bit. We're moving taps around and cleaning a lot of beer lines and a lot of it's just training the staff. Okay, we're making our own beer and it's going to be better than what they're all asking for. So get on board and here's what we have. Yeah.
I think that you and are two perfect additions to Puesto. I've been a fan of Puesto for years now, and the time and thought that goes behind everything from the craft cocktails to the tequila that they think that adding their own cerveceria with you two is the perfect combination. What we're looking for here in San Diego.
I think it's what I look for in life.
I was thinking that too. All we need is a swimming pool because we've got the margaritas, we got the beer.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to walk out of Puesto into the ocean. Or the ocean.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, when's the beach location coming?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I'm sure they're building 2 more in Orange County right now, and so by first quarter next year, there's going to be 9 stores that we're going to be providing the beer for, and then move on from there. We're waiting for the COVID to get done, and so we can see how much we're going to be making and drinking.
We're waiting for COVID to end.
Yeah.
So COVID was kind of almost a soft opening for you guys in some ways, right?
Very much.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do a bunch of VIP parties that all got canceled, and those are the growlers that you got. They were supposed to go to. they were supposed to go to you because there's no better VIPs or bigger than you guys. But I wasn't supposed to have any more left by now. So it slowed everything down. We're serving out in the parking lot, which is very comfortable. The malls worked well with us. But there's 30 tables out in our front parking lot. And who knows what's going to happen after we're able to eat inside again. Who knows?
Before we move on to the next beer, I would love to give a shout out to the tres leches that you guys have on your dessert menu. Obviously, the lunch phenomenal, everything we had, but then our server came out and she's like, "I have for you," and she brought out the tres leches, and it was so good. Everything we had was phenomenal. So, you want food? Go to Puesto.
I want to do a quick shout out to the tequila selection there. I mean, wow. I love tequilas, and I love trying new tequilas, and they've got everything under the sun, man. I mean, some of the best tequila brands ever are there. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Everything Puesto does, and we're a part of that now. I trip up sometimes because I say they instead of we, but everything is first rate. The food, the margaritas, the liquor, the tequilas, and now the beer, the desserts, the atmosphere, everything. We do it really well, and it's first rate in every area, and so we're just hoping to live up to our part of it.
Anybody who goes there, ask the bartenders to raise the shelves above the bar, raise and lower. I mean, that blew my mind right there. I was kind of like,
it's
going on here?
So fun in there. I mean, let's talk about the bathroom that says, "I love you, tacos, I love you too." But let's talk about the next beer, the Negra, coming in at a 5.3. So if I was Paul Segura has told me before, we do not drink with our eyes, we drink. And when you get this dark beer and you're like, "Oh, that might be kind of crazy," it's not.
Yeah. We didn't bring any.
Nice and smoky.
Yes. Look at that. So you would think, I mean, if you drink with your eyes, you would think that could be maybe a Doppelbock or something like that, but you go to taste it, and it's extremely refreshing and approachable and delicious. It's got hints of cocoa, but it's not ominous at all, man. It's very crushable, very drinkable. And once again, it's got everything a beer drinker wants, but it's approachable enough for anybody,
Yeah, don't stop talking. You're doing good.
Yeah, pretty killer description, I'd say.
Can you guys break it down? Because I actually don't know what a Negra. Can you break down what a Negra is?
It's a dark. In a more traditional sense, you could cite something like Negra Modelo, but which is going to be a lot drier, crisper, a lot more subtle malt-wise than this beer right here. Essentially, our goals with the Puesto Negra is to get in that ballpark of the Negra Modelo concept, but just to push the envelope flavor-wise. So a little bit what Paul touched on. Wanted to keep it crisp and refreshing, and as close to the Mexican lager idea of crisp and refreshing as we could, but also while pushing the flavor envelope. So getting as much malt punch flavor in there while keeping it light and fresh and crisp. So a little bit of cocoa, chocolate, really toasty, but all kind of making it a subtle approach to all that.
I think the trick for us is the lightness of it. Is for us to keep it light texture. And even though it's a little maltier than a Negra Modelo, it drinks light, and that's really what we were trying to do with it.
So you guys probably have a lot of experience making Munich Dunkel, which is a beautiful, dark German lager style. This is almost approaching that. This is a bit lighter, I think, but I'd say more approachable than that, maybe. How would you compare this to a Munich Dunkel?
Similar, yeah. I think you're on something there. Just the emphasis and the oomph of a Munich Dunkel with the light, crisp approachability of Mexican lager.
There's the corn too.
And yeah,
I think the corn adds a whole nother dynamic, and in ways it makes it taste a little more malty, or the sweetness of the corn, which you don't get in a Dunkel so much, a true Dunkel beer. I think I prefer this beer though, and to be honest, I think if we entered it into a Dunkel category, nobody would know. I think it would do well.
right.
These are phenomenal beers. You guys are doing, I guess in very naive mind, I was like, oh, there's like a total to Mexican as far as it goes making beers, and you guys seem to be doing it very flawlessly, and suppressed fans of both of your guys' work years now between Gordon Biersch and Rock Bottom, and I think was amazing, and you're bringing it over to Puesto, and I could not be more happier for Puesto.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy for all of San Diego. I mean, as a good beer drinker, how could we not rejoice in the fact that these two guys are still brewing beer in our city?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that all of the city should be celebrating, honestly. That we've got their beer still, and the food and everything else on top of that. That's all bonus.
We say that about you too, Paul. The more gray you get,
towards the end, you don't have to do that.
Everybody is happy that you're still on the scene as well.
You're too kind.
I feel honored to be part of that fraternity from 20 or 25 years ago with you, and many others, but with you specifically. You're part of it.
You're too kind, man. I love the fact that you guys both have homes. We live in crazy times, and you guys are brewing excellent beer at a place that's got the whole package. The food, the atmosphere, everything. It's really kind of a lotus that has bloomed out of the mud. To
kind of back on Paul from that, what you guys are doing is you're really making beer very approachable to the consumer who may not be a giant craft beer nerd who goes to a ton of breweries. And what you've done is you've made it approachable. You've taken out any possible pretension is behind craft beer. And I think what you guys are doing at Puesto is to make so many converts into craft beer.
I think so. Yeah.
Good.
I'm thankful that the hipsters have made lagers cool again.
Yes.
That's out a lot. And to your point, though, Danielle, they're cool again. Yeah, but people are now appreciating. When I first started brewing, everybody appreciated it, and we went through the whole IPA thing, and now everything out of the box and blah blah blah, and now back to lagers. It's really cool to have ridden that wave the whole way through, and back to lagers. Now lagers are cool again, and it's cool. It's neat.
Continues to show that there is craft beer for every there. That is for sure. It's so vast.
I think if you went to some of the guys in San Diego now that are making some of the lagers and asked them who helped you or who inspired you, they would actually point to that guy right there and say he was very generous with his time and his knowledge, and we owe him one. And it's true. You have been very generous. So cheers to you, brother.
Thank you, Paul.
It is a total love fest.
It is, isn't it?
Doug and Dan from Puesto, thank you so much for joining Paul for Beer for ABV. We appreciate it so much. To the new location there in Mission Valley, Puesto is making their own beer now. Puesto Cervecería I, Doug and Dan, we appreciate you guys so much. We had the Clara as well as the from Puesto, and on Friday morning, Paul will be joining Marty and myself, and we're gonna drink beers from Puesto that we did not drink here in ABV, so do not miss out on it. These guys are making super phenomenal beer. Thank you so much, Doug and Dan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Gentlemen.
Love you both.
Love you more.
Big thank you to Belmont Park, where you'll find local favorite Chicken Charlie's and their new St. Archer's pop-up bar, Belmont Brews and Views. Thank you so much for supporting. Cheers to CB Radio.
Cheers to that.
91X.